You're a little bit drunk.
I'm a little bit. I'll let you talk most, and then I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Okay, buddy.
Yep. I'll have a sip right now. Hold on. Okay, I'm done. No, not really.
This is depressing.
You haven't even sipped it yet.
Sip is complete.
You are...
Introduce us,
You're a really alcoholic person. My pizza delivery is confirmed.
Oh, look out. Hold on.
She's done it.
Oh my gosh. Fuck me, Dad.
No, you can't drink it.
Okay, fine. Introduce us.
Fair point. Okay.
Thank you.
This is Friday Night Rants and Bants. Actually on a Friday.
On a Friday for once.
We are here on a Friday doing this.
I say for once. We've only done it one at a time, so it's
True.
not really. Yeah.
Exactly.
That was sexy.
Do you mind? You've ruined the intro now.
How drunk are you?
On a scale of 10, 5. Let's go. This will be interesting.
All right. I am here with my two co-hosts for the evening. We have the mythical, the indescribable
I don't know which way this is
Jackson.
going. Oh, hello.
You could call mythical.
I did.
And we have the
you.
celestial,
Oh,
the magnificent Sage.
Thank you.
hold on.
Sage.
Wait.
You can call me Sag.
Sag Bagwin.
Sag Bagwin.
My favourite Lord of the Rings character. We have gathered here today, I think, for the question that I like to... Well, it's not really a question, it's more just a statement. the Pokemon problem, I like to call it.
The Pokemon problem.
The Pokemon.
Do you mean in general with the franchise or with the recent...
I think with all of it, frankly.
Ooh, okay. This is deeper than I thought it was going to
This
go.
is spicy. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out on November the 15th.
Okay, yeah.
So, very soon.
Got my pre-order gone.
You've got your pre-order
Do
going.
you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There you go. But I do not have high hopes for it.
Me
Or
neither.
the future of the franchise. You pre-ordered it, but you do not have high hopes for it.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to us?
I like to veggie out for a week. Fight me.
I literally thought your response was going to be, I like Pokemon. I thought that was going to be the end
I mean,
of the
that's-
argument.
That's my statement.
That's valid, I guess.
No,
I mean,
no. I know it's going... Okay, so I genuinely think it's going to be a disappointment. Unless they rely very heavily on story development,
No,
which they
this
have
is-
been really dropping in the last few
I think
games.
Gen 5 was the last generation which was genuinely, like...
Interesting?
It was interesting and people gave it genuine acclaim for its story. And then that was it. Like, 6 and 7, I think. I think 7 was okay, but 6 people generally criticised.
Remember when they had hideouts?
Yes.
Gen 3.
I mean, this is what I was going to go through the points because I am probably the least experienced in the room, I suppose, in Pokemon ones. I think the last one I actually played was X, and
Okay.
I never finished that.
I loved
I kept
X.
falling asleep while I was playing it,
Nice.
so that
Oh,
probably
no.
that probably tells you something. It was okay. It was just way too easy. Like everything, you just was steamrolled through.
Yeah.
Because of the XP share, I think
Yeah.
mostly.
That's right.
The
That was,
XP share, oh my god.
that was the game where they introduced into the series the
well,
XP.
I mean, not like they had it in previous ones, but it was you give it to one Pokemon.
No, I mean, like, they share it between all of the
Yeah,
team.
no, that's what this one has.
Yeah,
yes.
because previously it was just one Pokemon.
Yeah.
You pick one Pokemon, the XP is halved and shared between two, but in this game it was shared between the whole
everything,
party.
yeah, and they all got the same amount. Like it wasn't halved; they were split up.
That's right.
I think they all got the full amount.
Yeah.
So that was the last one I played. I have got Sun,
Yes.
or Moon, whichever one.
I bought your second copy of Moon.
yes.
You have 2 copies of Moon?
He did.
I got a second copy given to me. So I haven't played that yet. I probably will play it at some point. But from what I've seen, Sword and Shield do not.
Well, where do we want
Really?
Where do we want to start? Do we want to start like artistically in terms of the design of the world?
I think we should go with the previous ones that have led me to this point. Like
Okay.
Gen 2, I'd say probably is my favorite because I think it introduced so much that for some reason has never appeared in any other game. It has like the radio show, it has the night day Pokemon coming out at different times.
And for the sprites as well. Fun fact: I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Apparently, Gen 2 was where the original creator planned to leave it. So a lot of the sprites had extra animations to them. That was yeah. So
And
it was an end point to the series, and then was picked up obviously.
Sure. And it had the like things like the calling trainers you could do to refight them, that sort of thing, or just to like have extra dialogue and stuff. It had the whole Kanto you could go to after you finish the whole second
right, yeah.
continent. And then Gen 3 had a few additions like the secret bases, which I loved, and I'm like, these could be great. They expand on them, and it had things like the Pokemon competitions.
That's right, yeah.
With the berries, you could change the attributes to make them more appealing in certain competitions.
Gen 3 also introduced a lot more Pokemon as well than Gen 2 as well. I think it introduced something like 120 odd, something like that. I could be very much wrong.
And I think the newer gens have lesser and lesser ones they add each gen.
I think Gen 5 was 156 or something, and then since then it's been
Isn't it like about 80 or something?
Gen 4 was about 80, Gen 6 was about 60, and Gen 7 was about the same, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So it's been a very inconsistent introduction of new, which I mean it's fair enough considering that they base a lot of their designs on existing animals and cultural things as well, in regards to where the game is set. But still, it seems a little bit like buying a brand new game to catch 400 same Pokemon and then only 60 new ones. Like I prefer to catch all new ones, but that's just me.
That's fair. I think that's why that was good to have the continent in the second gen. You go back to Kanto and catch all the old ones on top of the new ones being in the new continent.
Yeah. Plus, it literally doubled your game time as well because you had 8 gyms. And
if it was me, I'd have one of them where you go to every continent. You go to you go through the whole world and collect them all. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So,
do we want to pick our favorite gens personally?
Gen 2 would be my favorite.
Okay, so Gen 2, fair enough. Sage?
Oh god, I honestly don't even know what's my favorite because I grew up on Red and Blue on the Game Boy. And honestly, I don't even remember that much about it. Or most of them. I just remember very key things about specific ones. Like, for example, X had the Looker quest after it. That is my favorite fucking thing out of all of them. It's just that's fucking end quest at the end of X and Y. I don't know why. It's just my favorite.
I think the post game is something that, especially the newer ones, lack a lot. That was there, the Looker quest, but they were not that many though, was it? It didn't add that much extra time to it. I think some of them had that battle tower thing, which they got rid of.
Gen 3 had the battle tower, and then was further explored in Emerald, I think. And then, funnily enough, in the remasters, they completely cut it.
Yeah, they cut it. It had a sign saying the battle tower.
Yeah, it had a little memorial, which was lol, this will be here, possibly, but probably not, and then obviously wasn't.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. Which is funny because Gen 3 is my favourite generation, personally. Now, there's a lot of bias going into this because obviously Gen 3 is my first generation. I probably got my Game Boy in 2006 or so just after Gen 3 released.
Baby.
Shut the fuck up, honestly.
I'm just saying, you're a little bab.
I'm a small man, but
you're new to this series.
I appreciate things. That's all I'm saying.
You never played Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64.
No, but I own the 2 other Pokemon games
Snap.
and game. No, I don't own Pokemon Snap.
No, Pokemon Snap. I still, to this day, I don't understand why they did not make a Pokemon Snap sequel on the 3DS using the camera. I just made you $10 million. Thank you, Game Freak.
Was pretty shit, and they decided not to. Though actually,
excuse me, you can leave the room at any time.
Very scenic.
No, I don't want to take. No, I don't want to take
pictures.
No.
Then why do you play Pokemon Go?
Because I get to have the Max CP Pikachu and defeat all of the other raid bosses with my Max CP. Pokemon Go is another discussion. I am obsessed. Shut up.
Yes, it's very concerning
Obsessed. You never open my presents.
Well, look, this is something that is optional as a gameplay feature, and I choose to allow that optional status to be...
It's very concerning that my 2 co-hosts are both fucking idiots.
Well, look, to be fair, you are, interviewing me. Interviewing? I don't know.
No, I'm not interviewing.
Not interviewing. You're requiring me to give information whilst half out of it, so it's all good.
I think half is doing you a bit of a favour.
Shut the fuck up. Let me continue back to my point.
I was talking about you because you're falling asleep.
Well, that too. He does fall asleep. But yes, no.
At some point in time, yes, I do sleep.
Gen 3 is my favourite because that was my first entry point to the series, and I don't know. I just, it introduced like 100-odd new Pokemon. I just enjoyed everything about it, really. I thought the legendaries were really cool. I thought a lot of the new designs were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The story, a lot of people have criticized, which is valid. I've watched a number of videos criticizing the story. Though, to be fair, story in Pokemon, there's only been like 2 games, really, which have... I think Gen 2 and Gen 5
There's always
are considered to have the best stories.
mild lazy effort, but I haven't played enough of the new ones to really know.
Which is another point to bring up as well. A lot of us are coming from a perspective of playing a couple of, but not all of, the Pokemon games.
I've played all of them, but usually when I was like younger than 10.
Yeah. I've played through Gen 1 to 4 religiously.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played Gen 5, 6, and I've touched a bit of 7.
The only one that I distinctly remember really disliking was Black and White. I really...
See, that's interesting because a lot of people...
People say they have the best stories.
Yeah, people say that they have the best stories, the best character development, the best themes throughout, and a lot of people quite like the Pokédex, from what I understand, anyway.
I really disliked the legendaries. I can't remember a single thing about the plot or the characters or even which Pokemon were added in that gen. I don't care for Black and White at all.
See, the thing that really turned me off... We're probably getting a bit sidetracked, but the thing that Gen 5 annoyed me with the most, personally, is it was in that weird time when Pokemon was trying to transition between 2D and 3D. True. And the sprite work was starting to obviously be animated. Well, no, it was being animated. Yeah. And, was in the process of being converted to 3D for obviously Gen 6. Yep. So I think... consequently, a lot of the sprite work was less detailed than the previous ones, only because of the purpose of moving it and animating it. And I don't know, for some reason, younger me tried to play Gen 5 and just couldn't because the sprites looked at... and this is a completely subjective thing, but I just couldn't get involved with the game simply because I felt like it was taking away detail from the one thing that was interesting about the game, which was the encountering of random monsters throughout the world and, being able to appreciate how they look.
Speaking of encountering random monsters...
Me.
The random battles,
yes,
when we go into Sword and Shield, have been replaced with the on-field battles, where you can actually see the Pokemon wandering around.
Well, okay. Have we effectively addressed the previous question, though? Which is our favourite gen? So Gen 2...
I think we've all said Gen 2, you said Gen...
You didn't say. Mine's Gen 3.
I didn't say. I don't really have
You appreciate all of them.
Yeah, I just kind of like all of them. I had a dislike for Black and White. That
fair
was
enough.
my statement.
Fair enough.
It's fair enough. Okay, so...
And you're Gen 3.
I'm Gen 3.
Yeah, and Gen 2, yeah.
Gen 3 is best. Kyogre, best boy, and love it forever.
I admit, I did like the Gen 3 legendaries. Like the Reggies, how you have to do the...
No, the Reggies is shit. You can go away.
No, I didn't like them because I don't like their design.
Oh, you like
But
the...
I like the...
ugly.
I like how you have to do like the Braille sort of
with the
kid kind of quest thing where it's got like the bullshit steps. You have to like...
The thing that requires you to get on Google and fucking, search up the guide.
If you're a real gamer like me and got the boxed version, you got the Braille guide in the game.
If you're a real gamer like me and you destroy the fucking Game Boy box, you get your mother to go on the Internet Explorer and fucking print out an 80-page guide for Pokemon Sapphire, printed on A4 paper.
Why didn't you just print out a Braille guide and use the Braille guide?
It is printed out in landscape as opposed to fucking portrait, so you have to flip through this fucking booklet and then you find it 10 years later and finally figure out how to get the Reggies.
Why didn't you print it out yourself? Why don't you just search online?
Because I was about 7 at the time. That's probably about why.
I don't know.
I used to hack, in quotation marks, into my parents' bank accounts and think that I was the fucking Neo of the world. I thought the Matrix was everything that I could do on the computer.
So you took the red pill?
Yes.
And became the Chad you are today?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the only way to get the Reggies is to print it out on landscape.
Okay.
Yep.
Not portrait.
Not portrait.
Okay.
Landscape.
Wow.
Fair enough.
You get better image quality. I don't fucking know. Move on.
So then we go to Pokemon Sword and Shield, the newest game, which is set in ye olde England.
Ye olde England with the beautiful castles.
Don't even
mate.
attempt.
Don't even.
I want to do a British accent for the rest of this fucking podcast, mate.
Then you can leave.
Where would I go?
You can't drive home.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just sit out the front.
You can sleep in the garden.
Fuck.
Going back to Pokemon. Anyway, so there's been the big contention because it looks like dog shit.
Yeah, it does.
And everyone agrees that because they're just taking assets, and this has been confirmed, they're taking assets from Sun and Moon, from Let's Go, from Pokemon Go, reusing assets, reusing animations, and they're complaining the whole time. You know, it's a lot of work to ask us to... The guys who make Pokemon, who make millions and millions of dollars through...
I think they're literally the highest grossing entertainment.
It's the highest grossing series, I think, of all time.
I think of any entertainment medium. That's music, film, games.
That was without Pokemon Go even in the equation.
Yeah.
So add that onto it. And they're complaining because they have to make, 800 unique...
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And,
people do that in their basement on a weekend for fun.
But, I mean, if they're reusing assets, haven't they already got all the base assets from Sun and Moon?
This is my point, is that...
It's like...
if anyone who hasn't read it, as I was telling Sage earlier, that the only Gen 1 starter in is Charmander.
Which is...
Squirtle and Bulbasaur are not in there at all. Neither of their evolutions.
Because they suck.
Number 1 in the Pokedex.
They do not.
They
Right,
suck.
that's fine, that's your opinion.
Number 1 on the Pokedex is not in a Pokemon game. Can I just take a moment?
Well, okay, before we start getting into the whole National Dex debacle, let's focus in on the obvious problem that is the presentation of these games, if that's okay, Sword and Shield respectively. Now, it is my understanding, and to be fair, I don't look into this all that much, but Game Freak. I nearly said Niantic because I'm that fucking stupid that's the only Pokemon game I play. Game Freak, they've split development, from what I understand. They're working on a quote-unquote passion project.
Yes. Okay, so just to divert, that passion project has actually come out.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Yes, and it is apparently also dog shit.
Okay, excellent, awesome.
It's like a board game Mario Party RPG bullshit.
I'm glad...
And everyone hates it. It's no good.
I mean, it's probably been their passion project.
It's sold like shit because nobody wants anything from them, except for Pokemon.
Oh dear, it's probably been their passion project since 1994.
I mean, I can't blame them for wanting to...
You can't blame them for the outdated...
I can't blame them for wanting to do something else other than Pokemon after 20 years. I get that, but you know...
Also, that sucks.
You could make better ways of improving Pokemon to make it not feel quite as traditional.
Recycle.
I'm sure there's plenty of rules around it that they have to follow.
I'm sure.
But you can change it up enough. There's enough leeway.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, all you need to do is look at the GameCube entries, Colosseum and XD.
Exactly, which weren't made by Game Freak, and that's why people like them.
And funnily enough, a lot of people seem to confuse this recent endeavor as the first venture into 3D for Pokemon. It's not. The first venture into 3D was back in the early 2000s.
I mean, X was already 3D anyway.
Well, I mean, like 3D is in console 3D based.
This is the first console one.
No, it's not. That's the point. It's like GameCube was the first one with Colosseum. Colosseum and XD were 3D rendered Pokemon RPGs where you could catch and train
like
individual
open
Pokemon.
world JRPGs.
Oh, open world in as much
if you whatever you want to call that. But as much as you want to call Sword and Shield open world from the looks of it.
But see, that's the problem.
It's just like a giant plane. That's
the problem with, I think, and going back to the fact that they've split development, I feel like the better option would have been to wait, honestly. Well, because the way that they've released this product now is it's like it's really hard to differentiate what's being released now from just a fucking DS version.
Well, we don't know exactly how much it was split or what went where. I'm really debating how much really was put into little whatever story or whatever.
The point that I'm making is that majority of it seems to be the very stock standard linear. You have route 265 and you walk through in a straight left or right.
We have no idea if it wouldn't have been that way anyway, which it probably would have.
Which is fair, but just speculating for the point of it.
So speaking of these open worlds, they have the Pokemon walking around now, which is done in many RPGs.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Which
and only one Pokemon RPG, may I add, which was the most recent voyage into the Pokemon land, the remaster of Gen 1. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Which, if you want to call that a remaster, I think it's probably insulting.
It's a remaster in the fact that it looks better, but...
I guess you'd say it's a remake rather than a remaster. Yeah. But
honestly, that game, I think, functionally works better than the way this looks, because they have, 12 Pokemon on screen? Like, I'm saying 12 as if... What I mean is they have more than Sword and Shield. Like, from the bits that I have seen in the quote-unquote open areas where you can control the camera, I only ever see, like, 5 or 6 Pokemon rendered on screen in the wild. Because obviously they're bringing back the random encounters, right? Which is fair.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate because, that's a lot of the fun is not knowing what you're going to, interact with or see. But, it feels a little bit fake when you see 3 Pokemon on the screen when a year prior we had a Pokemon game where you had 12 individual Pokemon.
Well, people are going to make the argument that because it's this huge, big plane, they can't...
But it's not.
They can't.
It seems... Do we even know if there's going to be more than one area? Or is it just going to interconnect at all?
We don't know anything at this point,
Well,
and
yeah.
I don't think there's much to know. I mean, just from looking at the Pokemon wandering about, I think I've shown you before, there was the one with the Wingull,
Yeah.
which was literally just turning around like the model. Like, the wings weren't flapping, it wasn't really moving.
Yeah, Wingull never really flaps.
Well, it should.
Well,
It's a bird. It's got wings. They must flap. That is the point. No. There was that video where there was that, first year animation student who made in like a day a model of Wingull with wings that were flapping that looked better than the one in the game.
Yeah.
So if some guy can do it, I think a multi-billion-dollar
Well, you would think so.
company can do
And I
it.
think that goes back to the whole, I don't want to lead into the national decks yet, but like, as I say, include all of, a starter, like a lineup, all 3 of them with all of the respective evolutions, and the fact that they couldn't even do that with Gen 1. It just feels more insulting that, the team was so spent that they couldn't introduce 6 new models.
It's just so difficult.
It's so hard.
It's so difficult. They have a hard job, okay?
Yeah.
Despite the fact that many other games, even ones with low budgets, can do that.
Absolutely.
Even fan-made games, like other fan-made Pokemon games,
fucking-
Moemon.
Moemon's my shit.
Isn't that the one where they replace all of the...
The sprites with cute anime girls? Yeah.
And they did that for all the Pokemon in the game.
You know what Pokemon game was really, 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 really good?
Which one?
Pokemon Uranium.
Yes!
That
Now, this
was
one I
my
want to play.
shit. That's the only
Now-
Pokemon that was released recently, quote unquote recently.
4 or 5 years ago, yeah.
Shut up.
No, I'm not saying that to be... I'm just saying, I'm just adding context.
I know. It's the only Pokemon game that I actually look back on completely fondly. Like, okay, the main thing that I really loved about that game was not only like the radioactive Pokemon. That shit was cool.
Wait, so explain that. I'm coming from a point of
Okay,
knowing nothing about it.
Okay,
so.
like Shadow Pokemon
Yeah.
in Pokemon Go. Yeah, it was kind of like that, but
Okay.
not shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
They looked really cool instead of having this shitty, clippy, purple fire shit around them.
Fire sprite around
They
them,
actually
yeah.
had like different color schemes and shit. It was
Okay, so they
cool.
actively
They looked
altered the Pokemon.
different.
Okay,
It was really cool.
So is that kind of like what it was in XD? Like you have to cleanse them or whatever?
Is there a way in which you can like bring them back
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
normal
I think there
styles, or-
was.
Because in Pokemon
Yeah.
XD and Colosseum there's the corrupted Shadow Pokemon,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get new Pokemon is you have to sort of cleanse other trainers'
Yeah.
ones, and then you can take them.
Yeah, well, from what I remember from years ago, they were around a messed up nuclear power plant, and so the wildlife around it was messed up.
Yeah.
And extremely aggressive, more powerful, looked pretty damn cool. It was good. Yeah.
Okay.
But one of my most favorite things from that was when they designed a evolution for Dunsarath.
Which is this Pokemon? I have no idea.
Oh man, okay. Dunsparce? You know Dunsparce?
Okay, wait. Oh,
Yeah, it
is
was
this like the
Dunsparce, yeah.
dragon evolution for
Yeah.
Dunsparce? Okay, I know.
Yeah. That,
All I
Dunsparce.
know is that Alex, one of my friends, is hanging on every thread of leak of information that is put out about Sword and Shield, and fucking gosh dang it, he wants an evolution for Dunsparce.
Everybody does.
He's already come multiple times with Ponyta and fucking Farfetch, but he needs that Dunsparce.
I really don't
This
care
is the sign
about
of a desperate man.
No, I understand, because after understanding from Pokemon Go of all things, the Dunsparce's mouth is the little blue, green I know, I want it now too. I'm in #team Dunsparce.
Speaking of shitty gimmicks, what do you guys think about the giant Pokemon battles?
I hate it!
Now, when you say
Gigantamax.
do you mean Gigantamax or the giant ones? Because there's
Are they-
two,
are they
and
the same
no,
thing?
no, they're not. Believe it or fucking not, do you want me to explain it to you?
Go on.
Okay, sure. So Gigantamax is a no, Gigantamax. Sorry, that's the fucking wrong one. I can't
It's
even
a
get it right
shitty
myself.
gimmick.
Okay, so there's big Pokemon now. If you want big Pokemon, if you want to have that fucking sexual fantasy of training a giant 40-foot Pikachu, you can do that. But you can also activate Gigantamax mode, which is sort of like the Mega Evolutions from Gen. Yes,
That's
exactly.
my finish.
Yes.
That's my perspective on this
So,
podcast.
oh my gosh. So if you guys remember from Gen 6, they had Mega Evolutions, which was like a third evolution to some Pokemon.
Yeah,
like
it was really
Garchomp,
awesome.
Blaziken. Yeah, it was kind of cool. They've essentially reused that, whereby you Gigantamax certain Pokemon, certain species. So say like, I don't know, what's a good example? The Ice Cream Pokemon, the new one from Gen 8.
Vanillish.
Yeah, that one. If you Gigantamax that particular Pokemon, it turns into a cake. Like a giant, massive cake. And there's a bunch of other ones, like Pikachu turns into like the classic fat Pikachu from Gen 1 and the old trading. Yeah.
Meowth turns into that long boy.
Yeah, the long, tall one. And there's a couple of, like Charizard as well. Gets like a weird alternate version with like flaming wings and whatnot. It's, I don't know.
It's a little bit of too much obsession with Charizard, I think.
Well,
I know.
Is it like the 10-year-old's favourite Pokemon? I mean, probably
Yes,
probably my
probably
favourite.
is.
It was my favourite.
It's my favourite as well. But just include the others.
So, okay, go on.
Oh, well, that's it, basically. I mean, I think apparently they get...
I thought there was things where you have like multiple trainers or multiple Pokemon fighting one.
Well,
big
no,
one.
that's the raid system, which is sort
Just
of...
Pokemon Go.
It's just Pokemon Go. But basically, the Gigantamax ones get... Well, obviously, they get improved stats, I believe. And they get new moves. But see, sort of my problem with this whole system is it's sort of like, okay, so you have Gigantamax forms, right? In quotations, or even just the larger forms of regular Pokemon. But what is the strategy there?
That's the thing. The only strategy is to make your own Pokemon big if you fight one.
Exactly.
Because otherwise you're just going to get wiped.
It's either you go first, and then your opponent does the same thing to counter it, or vice versa. They're like, if you have a Bulbasaur that gets like
No, you won't have a Bulbasaur.
Well, excuse me, you won't have a Bulbasaur because fucking they didn't have the time and resources. If you have a Charmander, you know, it's like what do you do? Like, obviously none of us have played the game, obviously, so we don't know how the balancing works. But it's like, if this is such a massive stat boost for Pokemon when this happens, what is the point in not buffing your own Pokemon to specifically counter it? Even if it means taking, damage, but for the sake of not, costing your whole team the battle.
This is my central thesis statement of this whole argument, is that Game Freak are not very good developers. They have some terrible management because they don't know what they want. They keep removing features that people want in the games. They never keep all the features in there. Again, is this the argument that it's too hard? Because I can imagine, in that same vein, Animal Crossing is really popular. If you have the secret bases, that's kind of the same thing where you design your own base. You could expand upon it and make it, trainers develop their own villages together or something.
But it doesn't even need to be like
functional.
Secret base. Couldn't you just make a house which is like a simple...
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. Like, that's what I'm saying. It could be developed and expanded upon. Like, they could learn.
Well, this actually leads into Sage's point, which is where Game Freak seem to implement new token add-ons to the Pokemon formula, like singular mechanics that add on to the games, but they never reiterate or further develop them. I remember talking to you about it, and you sort of had some feelings about that, like the secret bases, contests being ripped out of it, character customization, all of the above.
Stuff that made it great, they just kind of rip it and replace it with like
another token form of...
I heard some bullshit argument that, it makes each entry feel unique or, like, unique to the region. Because I know, like, in Gen 6, it was set in sort of a France...
That's right, yeah.
Alternate, like a France-esque region, and the whole thing was about fashion. I'm like, I guess that makes sense, but then why not keep it in? Like, I know it might not be the region's theme, but it's still a feature that a lot of people liked. I liked it. So why wouldn't you keep it in? It's not like it takes a lot of extra effort to do.
It was great for introducing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, this is the thing which is really weird with Game Freak. It's like they have a base, which is red and blue, and then they progress it with future installments, whether it, be the Gen 2, the Gen 3 or whatnot, and they seem unwilling. I don't even want to say scared, because they're not scared, they're unwilling.
They refuse
to improve and reincorporate previous systems. Like secret bases, they weren't included outside of anything but Gen 3. And they're clearly capable of doing it again, because for the remasters, they've done it.
That's what I find the weirdest thing, though, because it's like they're not they can do it again, and in the remakes they purposefully redo it again. So it's almost like it's there in current gen graphics, or at least it was for the 3DS gen. So they've got it ready to go, and they just don't want to use it. Like, it's set there. You could just change it up a little bit. It's just bizarre to me that they wouldn't want to. And I mean, the same thing. I still can't believe there's no night and day system that changes the dynamic Pokemon coming in and out, or the weather system. I know it wasn't really a thing in Gen 3, but it had different areas with different...
like the Sandstorm area.
Yeah, the ideas are there. Like, why is that not a thing in every Pokemon game now? Like, surely there'd be, when it rains, certain Pokemon come out, like, a Marill or something will come out or something out of... Yeah, it would make perfect sense.
Like, there are some...
And it wouldn't be that hard to do.
No. Sorry, I don't want to take up too much time, but there was a system introduced with the remakes for Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, and it was a genuinely really cool system. Obviously, random mechanics can get quite dull after a while if you're looking for something specific.
Yes.
If you want that Ralts, that fuckwit Wally caught, and you just have to have it.
Yeah.
I had to have it.
Walking in the grass for a million fucking hours
to find one. Mm-hmm. It's not great. So in these newer remasters, they introduced a system whereby, obviously because now you have the analog stick, or at least one of them, Pokemon would spawn at random with their tails poking out of the grass, and provided that you could walk slowly enough, you could get within range and scan them, and generally they'd have a buff. They'd be of higher level. They'd have a unique trait, personality. They might have an item or something, if I remember correctly. And, it could result, it's another reason to hang about the areas that you might otherwise just skip past because you don't have fucking time for it. I remember on one of my playthroughs, I was in an area where the average level was 6 or 7 at high, and I managed to encounter a level 15 Slackoth, which is a really rare Pokemon. This is a genuinely good idea to encourage people to stick around areas which they would otherwise run past, especially in a remaster. Mm-hmm. If you've replayed these games however many times when they first came out, you don't want to fucking hang out. You generally know what you're doing. So to give you an environment where you want to hang around these areas to see what's going to pop out, I think that's a great idea. Never to fucking surface again.
Well, I know that remake in particular, the director or whoever did that was told by other Game Freak staff, why are you putting in so much effort? Why you keep adding these features? It's just a remake. And I just find that just indicative of Game Freak in general. Yeah. I know the director of Sword and Shield has gone on record saying, I want to find ways to cut down on gameplay busywork and add in more story and cutscenes, because I think that's where the main draw of Pokemon is. Which is, I think it speaks for itself, really.
It's a definite factor for me, but it's definitely not what I like about it. I like growing and working with my team. Yeah. That's what I like about Pokemon.
Well, seeing as we're now pretty firmly on Sword and Shield, I think, I want to direct this question to Sage, because I have yet to hear your opinion on it. What is your opinion, and we're going to go around the table here, but starting with you, on the whole National Dex debacle and them cutting essentially 400 plus
something
Pokemon
like that,
from the National Dex? And what is your opinion on the ones included? Where do you stand?
I personally don't know which ones are cut yet, because I've been trying to stay away from as much Sword and Shield news as possible. But I do think it had to happen at some point, but I don't think it should have happened yet, because I don't think it's that many Pokemon.
It's like 800 or something. Yeah.
Especially when they're recycling models and animations and everything. I don't think there's really an excuse to cut that much of the Dex.
Yeah,
I agree.
I feel like if they'd gotten to maybe double that amount of Pokemon, I can understand.
What the weird thing to me is that they obviously have, I don't know if they had a rhyme or a reason to which Pokemon they picked to cut, because a lot of them that did get cut were pretty popular choices. every Gen 1 starter and their evolutions except for Charmander, all of the Gen 2 starters, which I thought were really popular. I think some of the Gen 3 starters might have gotten cut as well.
I honestly can't remember. I've seen the graph, but I have had such little interest.
Ho-Oh and Lugia.
I haven't looked.
Ho-Oh and Lugia, I know, are definitely cut.
Which is weird because they are, like, in all honesty, Ho-Oh and Lugia are some of the best legendaries ever.
I'm sure most of the legendaries would have been cut because, to be fair, it kind of makes sense in that they probably shouldn't be in every game. But I think the more important factor is if you have them from a previous game, you can't transfer them over. I know they had that whole thing with the Pokebank where you pay a subscription so you can store them and transfer them to any game on any system, anything. So they're charging for a service you can't actually use in this game.
Yeah. Especially considering it was like one of the... Like, it came out fairly recently, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of releasing and developing an application which
point.
cannot be used with your...
No point.
Yeah. See, my opinion with the whole National Dex has been fairly grey. I am not going to pretend that I am the biggest Pokemon fan. Like, I love Pokemon. I will play Pokemon Go. I like that. I like the sense of seeing all of the things that I grew up with and being able to collect quote-unquote better versions, etc. as time goes on. I love the old games. I love the remasters of the ones that came out, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
I loved Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, I love all of those, but I am not, I've lost touch with the Pokemon games, certainly, but I sort of went through a resurgence recently. But still, I understand why remastering however many models would be taxing. Now, granted, you have brought up the fact that a lot of them are reused assets from previous games, which I get. But still, personally, I don't mind too much. I think the thing that really got me offside was the fact that they have now sort of gone through and selected Pokemon from generations where, like it doesn't feel right to me to include Charmander, one singular... line of evolution from Gen 1 and not include the others. Especially, as you say, where they have access to so many other sprites and 3D models to include in the games. It doesn't feel right to me to pick and choose specifics where, like include them all or don't include them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I feel, personally.
Speaking of starters, how do we feel about the 3 new ones?
They're trash. Fuck them off.
Really?
I've seen the evolutions for all of them, and I think the only one that looks half decent is the water one, and even then, it looks like
I haven't looked at the evolutions of them,
Me
but
neither. I only know the first stages.
I think only one of them really was any interesting to me. I really most of the starters, the new ones, I'm not big fans on.
I've never liked grass types, and I don't like monkeys, so
No,
Grookey is
you don't like
definitely
grass
out.
types? Turtwig is fucking boss.
I do not care about Turtwig.
Turtwig,
At all. At all, I just don't care.
It's grass ground. It resists fire, dude.
There's only a few that Are you finished?
He's drunk, he's
hold
never
on.
finished.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. There's not many that...
Fuck. Alright, I'm done.
I think the sound barrier is breaking here.
Yep.
There's only a few that I actually had any interest in. These ones don't really have much appeal to me. I'm sure there's probably some Pokemon in this gen that are okay. There's always a few that are good.
There's always like one. And generally I hold out hope for the dragon type, but this one's called Dragonpolt or something stupid like that.
Very
And it shoots dragon babies out of its wings, and I'm like, that is like the single stupidest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life, and I don't want that in my life. Fuck off. And that's my opinion.
Okay. Glad we got that out of the way.
I don't like Ponyta.
I like that, but that's because I'm a fucking idiot.
Ponyta.
Have you seen the
really?
fairy form? It's beautiful.
It's not fairy.
Is it not?
It's not fairy,
What
but
is
the
it?
weird fucking Galar version of Weezing is a fairy.
That's a fairy?
Yeah, but Ponyta is not a fairy.
Fuck!
What is that?
That is... Wait, you mean the Weezing with the top hat that looks like it's gonna...
Yeah, with that stupid mustache beard
And it looks like it's going to
thing.
confront you in a dark alley and start convincing you to buy
looks
certain
like Jack the
unnamed
Ripper, yeah.
substances. Yeah, me. Yes.
Right, okay.
Okay, you have no idea what we're talking about?
No, I know the coughing with the mustache.
You don't know the Ponyta?
You haven't lived it.
The non-fairy Ponyta? where the stream was live for fucking 8 hours.
Okay, let's just settle down.
I watched that stream.
Ponyta,
I didn't.
Ponyta never really interested me, okay? It's a fucking pony. It's got fire on it.
Rapidash is awesome.
Why didn't Ash burn himself when he climbed onto Rapidash?
Because Rapidash trusted him. Did you not watch it?
I was going to say because Ash is the Messiah. Fuck off.
It's probably also accurate.
Which is...
Well, I mean, he's
now
only
he's being,
10, but he's 22.
Now he's being kicked from the TV show. He's no longer the Messiah.
Because he won a...
Because he finally won.
He actually won the tournament.
He's obsolete now.
I was hoping they'd do like a time skip to where he's like 45. and still hanging around with a 10-year-old girl.
He is Professor
He's married
Oak.
to Gary Oak.
Yeah.
And his immense girth.
The fan fiction we always wanted.
Yeah, it's real.
We are off topic as fuck.
No, we're not. We're talking about Ash
We were talking about-
Ketchum being gay.
Excuse me. This is the Pokemon problem. This is what it does to people. Do you understand me?
Wait, is that the
Normal people who've been raised right by their parents play Pokemon and they are brought to their knees with autism. They just talk about Pokemon. They roam the streets harassing boomers.
I mean, to be fair,
Okay,
I mean, to be fair, my parents did break my Game Boy over Pokemon. So
My parents gave me mine because they were hogging the other one.
my parents returned my gold one because I didn't want the gold one. I wanted the silver one. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
Wow.
you can take that internet.
Also, why does Pokemon only still have one save slot?
Because Pokemon wants you to fucking buy
There's so much
multiple
hard
versions.
work in one save. They can't keep two on the same
It wants you
cartridge.
to buy multiple versions. This is why... Oh, fuck me dead.
Yeah.
You gotta own every fucking version of every fucking game.
I don't even worry about losing my progress when it comes to resetting. I just worry about my
Life.
poor Pokemon.
Oh, never mind.
Until I learned that there was a bank and then I put them in there.
Just release them all, and if they come
What
back,
is wrong with
kill them.
That went in a very different direction than I was
Yeah,
expecting it
that's
to.
what you do. Where were we? We were on National Dex? Sorry, guys. This was
We were on starters. Keep up.
Oh, that's right. Okay, the other designs that we've seen so far. What do we think? Now,
I have not seen the others.
well, I'm going to say something. I've seen a couple of them. Now, a lot of them are janky, DeviantArt-esque, like, recreations, I think.
Are you talking about the starters?
No,
or the
I'm
other-
talking about the other actual Pokemon
Yes.
exclusive
I
to
like
the...
Poltegeist. Have you seen Poltegeist?
Shut the fuck up. Let me finish my sentence.
No. I'm here to talk about Poltergeist. That's my true
Alright,
agenda.
Okay, this is the Poltergeist problem.
Oh, fucking gosh. I will give it to you. That's like the... Is that the genie in the lamp?
It is a ghost in a teacup.
Yeah, is this the one
Teapot.
can't you
Teapot.
drink it or something? I heard there was news stories about you could drink out of it or some shit.
Fuck yeah.
That's news to me, but I'm down.
Gives you a health buff. I don't know.
Take a sip of your Pokemon.
You take a sip and you're transported into a better game.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. But no, I've seen a couple of the others, and it's not great. Now, I'm fairly jaded when it comes to other Pokemon designs. I'm only just coming on board with like Gen 5 onward, but some of these don't look great. As I said, one of them is a dragon with little air hangers for baby dragons that shoot out other dragons. That is how creative we're getting here, guys.
Did you even see Mr. Mime?
You mean the new version for it?
Or Jinx? Or Execute?
Oh, you don't know. There's an evolution for Mr. Mime now, or at least a different variant.
I don't care. My point is
It's
that Gen 1 was not
think it's-
without sin.
It's Mr. Sign
Excuse
or
me.
something. It's Mr. Jazz or something like that, I think.
Mr. Mime was a gift.
No, Mr.
Okay.
Mime's
He was a
fucking
gift in the fucking movie that came out
If anyone's seen
recently.
Detective Pikachu, it's fucking awesome!
That movie was honestly a trip.
I love it.
You saw it?
Yeah.
I saw it in the cinema with
I
Alan.
fucking called that Ditto was the bad guy the whole time.
You spoiled it.
Oh, fuck off. Bill Nye wants to transport his consciousness into Mewtwo.
Bill Nye?
It's Bill Nye, the
No,
fucking...
it's not.
It is Bill Nye.
No.
You're thinking of the science guy, you fucking idiot. I'm talking about Bill Nye as in Captain Jack Sparrow from fucking Pirates
that's
of the
Johnny Depp.
Caribbean. No, the guy who plays Davy Jones. Chris, you know who I'm talking about, right? From not Lock, Stock, sorry, fucking the fucking Edgar Wright film. Come on. Shaun of the Dead. He plays the dad that dies and turns into a zombie in the car.
that guy. That is not Bill Nye.
That's Bill Nye. That's his name. Google it right now.
I just want to see the Sonic movie.
All I can think of is the
Fuck me
science
dead.
guy.
No, we're not diverging yet.
No, we all three of us have to go. Alright, this has to be cut obviously, but we seriously, real talk, we need to go see Sonic the Hedgehog in cinemas.
No, I'm going to see it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
of
not
course.
joking.
I'm keeping this in.
I was one of those people that fucking criticized the shit out of that movie and the Sonic design, because how could you not?
No.
What a travesty.
I want to see that movie with the old design.
What do you mean? Yeah,
No.
I want to see the movie in all its glory. I want to see the worst movie ever made.
No, you mean the best movie.
Y'all.
There's no change required. All I want is Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey and that abomination on the big screen.
Jim
If I
Carrey
can't get
is-
that,
Jim Carrey just is Robotnik.
Can I just ask, as a person who is living about 30 seconds forward of where we are right now, I have no clue what's happening. Why did we start talking about Bill Nye? Oh, that's right, the Pokemon movie. He was the man. He wanted to transport his consciousness into Mewtwo and make everyone Pokemon. Google it.
but why?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, I know that. I've seen it.
You were just denying me. Can we
I
rewind
just
this?
didn't know he was named Bill Nye.
40 seconds?
Dude, I just didn't know his name was Bill Nye.
Be giving it no symbols by someone, so no.
I want to know why Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu.
He's his dad.
I know he's his dad, but why is Ryan Reynolds?
Because Mewtwo, before I forgot his name.
'Cause he's hot.
Before old mate could make him like
Is
the
that when
consciousness
people
for
are gonna be attracted
Mewtwo.
to Pikachu
He
now?
transported
They
Ryan
always
Reynolds'
were.
personality and consciousness into Pikachu. Hence why Pikachu was almost
was this
dad.
the plot of the game as well?
Yes, this is actually my fan fiction. You can find it on www.deviantart#truelegend.com.
You have it on Wattpad too, don't you?
I have it on Notepad. That's how awesome I am.
Shit, I have it on Paint.
Oh my god.
What is happening? Why were you giving me like false signs before?
He was telling you to shut the fuck up.
That's
Oh.
true. Welcome to the podcast.
Podcast, guys.
Well then, do we have anything more to say about Pokemon Sword and Shield?
trying
If
to-
Skull Bunny is a fighting type, I am going to actually fucking kill somebody.
If the tree texture doesn't get fixed, I'm gonna fucking ring Niantic. Oh fuck! I'm gonna ring Niantic and be like, bro, you better fucking put this tree model in the game right now. I'll fucking
I
die.
said Niantic again.
No, I know, I did it intentionally.
Okay, I think.
It was an intentional thing. Your turn, Chris.
What do you want? Or don't want?
What would you like?
Get a job.
Anything. It doesn't have to be Pokemon. Just tell me.
I think I just want it all to end.
That's fair enough.
I'm not suicidal, but let's wrap this shit up.
This is the last episode of Rants and Bants. I think we're done.
We made it. What do you
We've covered.
Hold on.
We've covered every topic that
Known
Rants
to
and
man.
Rants and Bants could possibly cover.
Pokemon and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Fuckable Pikachu?
When did we discuss
Full
this?
stop.
When did we discuss this?
Bill Nye the Science Guy was here at one point.
What? Oh my fucking gosh, I'm getting another drink. Goodbye, I love you all. Meet me on Tinder, I'm looking for partners.
Multiple.
Fuck yeah.
At the same time, of either gender.
What? I just want dogs, honestly.
It's alright.
Pikachu not good enough for you?
Bestiality! Fucking bring it back! I want it! Bring it back to me,
Bring it back.
and I will engage. Todd Howard, make it happen.
Doesn't Todd Howard has that fucking Khajiit sex dungeon in the dev room of Skyrim?
Fucking 6 packs ago! Just
Alright.
Just end it already. Just cut it. Fuck.
Alright, thank you for listening to Friday Night Rants and Bants episode 2. Peace out.
I'm sorry you had to listen to this.